Welcome to GraphicsNext, and today we're gonna learn how to make this design right here. This was made in account of New Year 2077. Yes, it is 2077 here in Nepal, which was celebrated 3 days ago from now, and let's dive right into it. I'm using Cinema 4D R21 edition, and this is the scene right here. We're gonna learn how to create this scene, how to make this design, and how to create a light for it, and how to render, how to save, all those. Okay, so I'm gonna show you right now. It is the camera view. Let's see. Okay, this is the design right here. This is the scene setup completely. There's the camera and there's the light. Okay, and there's the photo. This is for the floor, and another one is as a background. Okay, but I'm not assigning it as a floor or the background, so I'm directly using this picture right here. I'm using this image on the same scale it was being downloaded. So let's create a new file. Okay, so first thing first, we're gonna create a MoGraph text, and here, so for just the example sake, I'll just write 42. You can write anything. You can write your name, okay, or your brand name. So we're gonna select a font right here. I'm not gonna use a very fancy font, so I'm gonna choose something very simple. I'll be using the font Calibri here. It's a very simple font. Let's change this from left to middle. So let's assume this is the glass part out here. Okay, as you can see, you might have got some idea looking at this image. As we can make out, the outer shell is made completely out of glass, and the inside there is something straw like red thing, okay, which is inside there. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do that. Okay, let's assume this is the outer shell. Okay, and this is little bit boxy. Right here it is all circular. Okay, we'll work on this text after we work on what's inside that text. Okay, I'm gonna middle click on my mouse, and I'm gonna come to this perspective view, and I'm gonna choose this front one. Okay, it's written front, top, right, and perspective. Here you can change it. Okay, but here it don't change much, so I'm gonna choose this one. This is what I need for now. So I'm gonna get a new tool here, spline pen. Okay, there are a lot of tools here. I'm gonna just select this one. Okay, I'm gonna create a line. Okay, very basic line. Okay, you can do continuity, okay, or you can break it like how I have done. Let me just show you. You can see there's a break here. Okay, there's no break here because this is 0, and there's a break here. Okay, and there's a little bit gap here. So if you want, you can give that continue, or you can do break. Okay, it is very easy. Okay, if you press here to here and you wanna break, just hit escape button. Okay, so from here you can press this button and you can go on till here. Okay, press escape button, and from here you can press here and hit escape button. In 2, I'm not gonna make any break. Okay, after making a first point, on the second point which you're gonna make it, just think like as a illustrator or pen tool in Photoshop. So I'm gonna press here and I'm gonna drag it. I'm gonna create this nice smooth curve, and next point I'm gonna make somewhere around here. As you can drag and move around, you can create a very smooth curve there. And I'm gonna make one here, come down here, yes, there it goes, and create an ending one here. And after this you can just hit escape. So as you can see, it is under the same spline here. We know this text is this one. Okay, but for this spline it is just a line, so we do not have that line here, right? It is actually something cylindrical. So how we gonna create that is, let's create a circle first. Okay, let's create this circle a little bit smaller, 2 centimeter. So let's create sweep nerve here. Okay, after we create this, we're gonna select this 2 and we're gonna just insert it here. So bam, there's a magic. Okay, what this sweep nerve does is, the spline which we put there and the shape which we put there, imagine if I would have selected a star. Okay, I'm gonna take out this circle. So now you can see this star shape has taken over this spline, right? So now I think you are getting some idea of what to create next on your own. You can try out that. More you get into this, better your skill will be. I'm gonna undo all this thing. Let's get our more text back. Okay, let's make it rounded as well. What we're gonna do is its depth. Okay, gonna make it a little bit smaller. We're gonna go to caps and we're gonna select this size. We just want it to look round. Okay, after some point, okay, it's not gonna make any difference, see right here, unless and until it is a big size design. Doesn't matter, because here we can work in any scale, finish the design, and after that we can scale it. Okay, no problem. If it is higher than 10, it's making no difference. It is lower than 10, then it is making some changes, right? So we don't want this chiseled shape, right? We want it to be round and smooth edged. Okay, let's say 7. That looks perfect. And here the segments are 3, maybe changes to 5. So that's giving us even a smoother round shape. Go to object and we're gonna decrease its depth, maybe 8. It's about experimenting, guys, and you have to play around with the settings. Okay, 2 is perfect. Okay, we're gonna go to render setting. We're gonna go to anti-aliasing and change this geometry to best. What's that gonna do is it's gonna create more smoothing surface for us. Okay, fine. So we have something inside that, right? So we don't know either it is in middle or not. So in that case, let's go to perspective view again and let's go to any of the right or the top. Okay, let's go in the top for better idea. Okay, we're just gonna select this text and we're gonna select this model. Okay, or we're gonna select this move tool, or we're gonna press E on the keyboard. That's gonna select move tool. Likewise, if you press R, it's gonna select a rotation tool, and likewise if you press T, a transform tool, which is gonna increase the size or decrease the size. Okay, fine. So don't forget this, guys. ERT, very handy. Okay, let's go back to our main perspective view and we're gonna create a material now, very quick. I don't want this tutorial to be very lengthy, and I'll try my best to keep it short and effective. Let's check this off, and here's the reflectance tool. We don't want that, we want transparency. Okay, we're just gonna apply that to more text. Okay, we can drop it here or either there. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so as we drop that here, we can see inside part, right? It is exposed and the outside one is a little bit transparent. Okay, when we hit a render button, we see some result, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna keep this refraction to 2. Okay, it's gonna give us smoother glass-like feel. Okay, see how obvious it has become now. Of course it is a glass now, right? We can see. Let's create inner material. Let's check everything off, and we're gonna create a luminance here. Luminance is a brightness. Okay, we're gonna keep it to 200 brightness. Okay, and we're gonna change color to red or whichever you like to. Okay, and we're gonna drag and drop on top of sweep nerve. Okay, let's hit the render button again. So you're gonna see it is reflecting a lot of light on that glass surface, right? So no problem for what we are gonna do next. Okay, so let's go ahead and download a picture. Okay, I have already downloaded, which I have already shown you in this design. Okay, so how we gonna download this is you can just go to Google. I'm using Brave in my case. It is ad free. If you like, you can download Brave. It is very nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and type wet road texture, which I have searched earlier. This is also a nice one. What you can do is if you press on the similar photo, okay, it's gonna show you a similar design, and from there you're gonna jump from one photo to other photo. I found this and I pressed here, and then yeah, it got me to this image right here, right? To download this, you can just right click and press save image as, and you can save wherever you want to. Okay, let's just press save once again. What's the deal? One more thing is when you hover your cursor here, you're gonna see the size. Okay, this is 1920 by 1080. Okay, so it's written here as well. Or if the detail is not shown here, what you can do is you can just simply right click properties and details. Okay, when you go here, you're gonna see this image dimension. Okay, this is 1920 by 1080 pixel. Okay, let's go back and let's create a plane. Okay, so this is gonna be our floor. As we know, image which we are gonna use it here is 1920 by 1080, right? So it's gonna take that size. We're gonna double click here, we're gonna make a new material and color, we're gonna select texture, and we're gonna select that image which we just downloaded, no problem, right? Okay, yes. And here in reflection, okay, we're gonna remove this one and we're gonna add a new one, that is reflection legacy. So here as well on the texture, we're gonna select that image which we downloaded. Okay, we're gonna create a bump here as well. We're gonna select that picture. Okay, yes, and we're gonna decrease its strength to say 5. Okay, we don't want so much hard bump. Okay, and we're gonna create a luminance and 10. See some changes. It's a little bit of light there. Okay, and here as well we're gonna select this image. So how vibrant it became, the lights are popping out in here. Material preview. Okay, we can see some changes, how it's gonna look like. Okay, drag and drop this here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this material. Okay, and also we're gonna duplicate this plane. We're gonna select both of this plane and we're gonna move it backward. As you can see in this image that there's which is on focus and the foreground and background is blur, right? So we want this text to be exactly on the position where there is no blur. So next thing what we're gonna do is select the duplicate one, we're gonna press R and we're gonna rotate this one just like that so that we can get a better depth of field. Okay, we're gonna press E where we want it to connect. Okay, so it is bending on the white part, so white part it is. There it goes. Okay, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate because it's already in blur and it will sync since it's the same image. See, there's a reflection and that's the reason why we're gonna remove that reflection from the duplicate one. Okay, as you can see it is written matte 2 and matte 3 here, and likewise, and if we hover it's matte 2 and matte 2, right? In matte 3 we're gonna remove this reflectance and we just gonna drag and drop on top of this one. As you can see now there's reflection on the floor one and not on the background side. Let's create a light. We're gonna select tube for our light. I'm gonna press R and I'm gonna rotate to 90 degree. I'm gonna press shift while doing this so that it snaps on every 5 degree. Okay, like that. I'm gonna press T to enlarge it, make it big, no problem. Select the box here and I'm gonna make it small, right? That size. I'm gonna go right here. When I press control, the icon on my cursor changes, right? That means duplicate. So I hit my control button, I'm gonna drag it, it's gonna duplicate. Okay, let's delete this middle one. Okay, for the light material we gonna create a new material. We're gonna check off this, we're gonna check off color, luminance, yes, and let's say we're gonna make this 200%. Let's select all this for tube and we're gonna press Alt plus G. It's gonna create a group. Let's call it light. We're gonna drag and drop this on this light group so that it applies on all together. So next thing is our camera, right? We're gonna create an angle. It's a very low angle photo, so we want to make it look like low angled. Okay, now we're gonna click this camera and we're gonna add this camera right away. Okay, don't go to any other camera, just press this camera. Okay, so now I can move around. Okay, the camera has already been created, it is there. I can do all sort of my design. I can change its focus point and we can press in this camera icon whenever we are ready to take a shot. We can press it here and we're gonna get back to that. Okay, when I press render, you can see it is looking very unrealistic. So design process is done. Now we're gonna follow up with the rendering process. Okay, so we can just click edit render setting. Okay, go here, effect, and we want ambient occlusion. Okay, so you can see it's taking some depth of field now, right? And this is looking a little bit fine, but it is still missing something, right guys? So we're gonna add one more effect here, and that is global illumination. Ambient occlusion plays with the shadow and global illumination plays with the light. We're gonna hit this render button again. It's gonna take a little bit longer time. So as you can see here and here, right? So there is some changes in light. So now what I can do is change its size, right? I think the inside material is a little bit bigger. So go to circle, choose this radius from 2 centimeter to 1 centimeter. Okay, and let's just see how that looks. And there you go, right? So you can see it's looking way better than before, because the inside material was too big. It was hiding the glass part, and now it is showing all this glass part, right? I'm gonna press D. I have selected both this much, right? I'm gonna hit last render, then we're gonna be done, right? So here you can see there's a reflection, right guys? So there's a reflection for 4, there's a reflection for 2, because the surface is a little bit wet, right? So we need some kind of reflection, at least where it is touching. So now I'm gonna show you how to save. The render time it took is 54. Okay, it is 1280 by 720. So I'm gonna change, maybe I'm gonna make it my desktop wallpaper, or I'm gonna publish it somewhere, okay? Or I want it for Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I can change that size from here. Okay, you can select the size, select 1920 by 1080, right? Since our glass material is reflecting way unrealistic, we're gonna go to transparency, and we're gonna decrease this Fresnel reflectivity from 100 to 50 and press enter. Okay, and we're gonna render it out. Okay, and then we're gonna save it. So we can see some difference here. So this is the previous one. Okay, it is reflecting way unrealistically. So this is the present one, final render. Okay, so you can see the difference. Right now it is blending perfect. So we're gonna right click on this final image, and we're gonna save image as, and we're gonna select this format to JPEG, and we're gonna go to option, let's say quality to 100%. Okay, then save. Okay, let's call it 42, whatever it is. Let's go to our desktop. I've saved it here, 42. Okay, so there it goes. One very important thing which I forgot to tell you, press Ctrl S for saving it. Till now we haven't saved it. This was my tutorial video, hence I did not save it, but you guys save it the time you start. Okay, you don't wanna redo all these things just in case. So that's it for today guys, and thank you so much for hanging to this tutorial till this point, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. I'll be uploading this kind of interesting tutorial in GraphicsNext. Thank you so much guys, see you next time.